Hey everybody, Mikeylito here with another edition of Mikeylito's Matinee. This one after dark, but then anytime that it's past 4:30 local time in the Northern Hemisphere, it's after dark. Uh, this is a review of Godzilla -1. Boy, that was well timed. Didn't mean to throw that up there. Uh, let's see if we can get this working right. There we go. Godzilla -1. Uh, a Japanese movie with English subtitles, and I went into this movie just wanting fun. I didn't necessarily have super fun, but I did enjoy the movie. So let's begin with how I'm rating it. And I think I've been giving this a lot of thought since I left the theater. I'm going to give Godzilla -1 and 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's great. 8 out of 10. That wasn't my initial reaction, but the more I thought about it, I really enjoyed this film. An equivalent of 4 stars out of 5. Uh, Godzilla -1, I tell you, I enjoyed this movie much more than I enjoyed Napoleon and Killers of the Flower Moon. So, what can I tell you? So, let's discuss, shall we? So, this movie kind of begins in the same fashion as the way that I complained about Napoleon, in the sense that it's throwing up a lot of titles with dates and about it. But the difference between Godzilla -1 and Napoleon, uh, Darth Plato might disagree with me, but this movie actually has a narrative. Uh, it features, and first of all, my apologies to all Japanese viewers because I know I'm gonna totally blow all the character names and all the actors' names. So I just need to say that up front. The movie begins with a kamikaze pilot who lands on an island. I believe it's called Odo Island, and he tells all the mechanics there that, and I should get his name correctly. Um, Shikishima. Shikishima. He complains to all the mechanics that his plane wasn't working correctly, and that's why he had to land on the island. Uh, the reality is something quite different, but we'll discuss that later. Uh, and then all of a sudden, with Shikishima and the mechanics doing their thing, uh, Godzilla shows up on the island. Why did he show up on the island? I don't know. Never really found out. But uh, this beast is really an angry dude. Now, I'm trying to. Oh, good. I did get uh some photos. So just bear with me 1 second as I try and bring them up on the screen if I can. Okay. I I I got up on screen. I have to juggle. Um Why is it not showing me? Oh, remind me later. I don't need that now, and I don't need this now. It's gonna be one of those streams, folks. Okay, here we go. Uh, I didn't have time to load all this stuff into a presentation, so I'm gonna have to do share a screen. Let me go full screen on this. Okay, finally. Would you want to hook up with this with this dude at night? Well, that's what happened to Shikishima and the mechanics on Odo Island. He just shows up and he is mean. We don't know what he's looking for, but he just attacks, attacks, attacks. And the mechanics want Shikishima to get back into his plane and use a big gun to shoot. But Shikishima has some problems when it comes to actually pulling the trigger. So he jumps out of the plane, and Tachibana, who is the lead mechanic, and Shikishima are only people who survive Godzilla's attack. And uh, Tachibana uh, lets uh, Shikishima know that, like, dude, you're a coward. You know, it's like you had the opportunity to take this thing out and you didn't do it. So this monster is, like I said, a very, very angry dude. And let me see what else I can pull up here. Look at the scale on this thing. Uh, this is something that occurs a little bit down the line. But I tell you what, let me come back and let's get into the movie discussion a little bit. Okay? So what happens is that Shikishima, as I said, he was a kamikaze pilot who uh, he didn't complete his mission. His excuse that there was problems with the plane, the mechanics told him we can't find anything wrong with the plane. So basically, he copped out. So he returns to Tokyo. I have always known that Tokyo was a large city, but until watching a film like this, I didn't really realize how large that it was. So he returns to Tokyo and he finds this woman, and I think her name is Noriko. And Noriko is with a child, Akiko, and Akiko is not Noriko's child. It's just some child that she found. This is after World War II, so there is a lot of displacement going on in Japan, and uh, this is uh, how people have dealt with things. So Noriko, even though the child is not her, she's taking care of her, and uh, for a little bit, uh, she sticks Shikishima with the child and runs away. And then eventually they hook up back together, and he decides to let her live with him and what have you. But it's really kind of obvious. He ran into somebody when he first came back that realized right away, you're a kamikaze pilot and yet you're alive. How is that possible? So there's a little bit of comedy uh, in this movie, but I really love the narrative story of Shikishima and Noriko and Akiko making this makeshift family. Godzilla appears in like different places, and one of the places that he appears in is Ginza. And when I mentioned earlier that I didn't realize how big a city uh, Tokyo was, Ginza, which I thought going in was a separate city, is actually a district within Tokyo. It's sort of like Beverly Hills is to Los Angeles, or Fifth Avenue is to um, New York City, or at least that's what it is to a gaijin like me. So uh, later on in the film, and I really wish that I had these photos ready. I have the photos, but I don't know if I can get them up. Uh, this is number 8 as I go back and forth between StreamYard and my browser. Let's see how this comes up. This is Godzilla attacking Ginza, and I always been amazed in every monster picture that I saw, where the monster is walking down a particular path, and people are always walking directly straight behind him, or I should say in front of him, and not like shooting out to the sides. Although I did see that in Steven Spielberg's War of the World, but most monster pictures are uh, pictures of destruction that I see. That's usually the case. Now, there's one other picture that I want to show you that happens during the Ginza sequence, and it's number 12. Let's see if I can get number 12. I'm telling you, like, really something. This is what happens when he uses his atomic breath for the first time. So it, it's really quite amazing, and the balance of the movie is Shikishima dealing with this severe case of survivor's guilt that he has, and uh, the story between the makeshift family, between him, Noriko, and Akiko. And Shikishima hooks up with this other crew on a minesweeper as they are trying to help get rid of Godzilla. I'm telling you, this is a fascinating movie. Like I said, it's in completely in Japanese with English subtitles, but it's really quite a wonderful movie. It has a heartfelt narrative. It does have a coda that you could guess based on something that it happens in the film, But if you like monster pictures like me, then you definitely should get out to the theater and see Godzilla minus one. And I apologize for not having the slides ready, but it's something that I just decided to throw together after I got off the bus. What can I tell you? Godzilla minus one, like I said, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, equivalent to 4 stars. Um, you'll be able to follow the story easy, and you'll get completely engrossed. Like I said, Godzilla, he's an angry, angry dude. I never quite figured out what his motivation was for taking out his anger on all of these different people, but he's a completely different Godzilla than the one Gareth Edwards uh, depicted in the American Godzilla movie. Uh, Godzilla minus one. Go out to the theater and see it. See it. I loved it. So, as I always say, watch content, form opinion. You just heard mine. I'd like to hear yours in the comments below. And since we don't have any live comments, let's move right along and tell you that in 2 weeks, I'll be going to see Wonka. Now, one of the things I need to try and do between now and then, is track down Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene. Don't say Gene Siskel, Gene Wilder, uh, because obviously there's going to be a lot of comparisons between that movie and this movie. So Friday, December 15th, I may push back this time because all these problems that I'm having with the bus system. Uh, I went to an early showing today, and yet I still have problems. So I might push it back, but right now it's scheduled for 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, and 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. That's in 2 weeks. Then oh, something has been added. Something has been added. On Wednesday, December the 19th, I'm going into New York City to the Paris Theater so that I can preview Rebel Moon, A Child of One. And I'm not even going to attempt to broadcast that day. Uh, Instead, I'm going to take my time and I will do a stream on the Rebel Moon one day before it premieres on Netflix, but one day after I've seen it. So hopefully I'll be better prepared. Thursday, December 20th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So it's my very first preview where I got to see something before a lot of the general audience. We'll see what happens. No special privileges, just bought a ticket. It happens to be playing in previews in New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, and a couple other cities. Then Friday, December 22nd. So how is that possible? Thursday's the 20th. I have to get my dates straight. It might be Thursday the 21st. Friday the 22nd. I know Friday's the 22nd. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I've said before, and I'm gonna say again, I'm a little wary of this movie, but I'm gonna go in with an open mind, and hopefully it'll be great. It is the final film in the DC extended universe before the big reboot, the DC Studios reboot. So we'll see how that goes. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on the 22nd. And then on Christmas Day, Monday, December 25th, I'm off to see The Color Purple, the musical, another movie that I'm a little wary of. But again, I'm gonna go in with an open mind. I have no idea what the transportation situation is going to be on Christmas Day. So, in the time slot where I would normally watch White Christmas, relaxing, I can do that 15 to a half an hour, 15 minutes to a half an hour later, and give you a review of The Color Purple, the musical, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and 2 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So that's everything that's coming up for the month of December before we wrap up the end of the year. As always, if you have a comment about anything that happens here, you can leave it down below. Please share and like this video and subscribe to the channel, which is Mikeylito Live, that you see right there. You can follow me on social media at any of those locations. I'm hanging out on Twitter/X, so you can see me there, and follow me on my leisure blog at Mikeylito.blog, and my opinion blog at Mikeylito.com. And until 2 weeks from today, on the 15th of December, when I'm off to see Wonka starring Timothy Chalamet, I may re-record this review because I would really like to get those slides in and what have you. Uh, Godzilla is a vicious, vicious dude. But unless and until I do that, by all means, go and see it. It's really a really good movie. And until, like I said, the 15th of December for Wonka, this is Mikeylito saying thanks for watching. Ciao for now. And I will see you next time.